Hello and welcome to coverage of the 2026 Olympic Women's Hockey Final. Team USA versus Team Canada, a grudge match for the ages here for the gold medal. Switzerland defeated Sweden earlier today for that bronze. And now we will see the US and Canada, the two North American teams, battle it out to take home that gold medal. Thank you for joining us here on the International Sports Network. My name is Matthew Giesecke. I will be joined later by my co-host, Marshall Lamert, sometime in the second period. Team last 6 matchups versus the Canadians. And we'll be looking to repeat that. Canada will be looking to add another gold medal to their cabinet. Their captain, Marie-Philippe Poulin, chasing her sorry about that. Got some odd audio coming through. This will be Captain Marie-Philippe Poulin's 27th Olympic game, likely her last as well. We are minutes away from being underway here in Milano. John Wroblewski, the coach for the United States. Erin Frankel in net for the U.S. She has had a fantastic tournament along with her partners in between the pipes. Troy Ryan, the coach for Canada, and it will be Anne-Renee Desbiens in net for the Canadian team. She has also had herself a very excellent tournament. You can watch along with us on Peacock or the USA Network for our American viewers. Way here. Alex Carpenter circles back, looks to make an offensive moving through center ice. little difficulty with my stream here. Here we are. Caroline Harvey moving through, throws a shot on net. And the puck exits the zone, goes all the way down the ice, no icing. USA floats it back into the zone, handled behind the net. The battle along the boards, Canada has it. Lee Steck. Icing by Canada. This one's to the Canadian end. Canada wins the faceoff and pushes it toward the blue line. US recovers back in Canada's hands, and they exit the zone. Moving through center ice and into the attacking. Fielded behind the net by Megan Keller. She carries it out, passes it forward, held up in the neutral zone. And Canada is offside. Looks like Laura Stacy caught in an offside position there. US chases. Steckline gets there first, clears it up, but not out. Mishandled pass by Turnbull, and it clears the zone. Back into the US's zone. Fielded by Caroline Harvey. Caught in a delayed offside. Canada beats the icing. Feeds it back to Steckline, clears the zone. And it's fielded behind the net by Deadbian. Fed has her pocket picked, and the US is attacking again. Big battle out in front of the net there. Steckline once again dumps a cover. Canada takes the face off. Seven consecutive victories against the Canadian women's team for this US squad. Face some offensive pressure going here. 4 minutes into the first. Edwards puts it on net, covered by Debian. Face-off won by the Canadians. Gloved by Phillips. Face-off, and Fillier takes it. Marie Philippe on the ice. That's a shot. Reader kept out. Phillips. Oh, US gets it back in the behind the net by Carpenter. And by the Canadians, they look to recover. They do. Battled in the corner. Yeah. Oh, apologies, Abby Murphy. Shot pushed aside by Debian. And the Canadians will have a man advantage for the next 2 minutes. So Abby Murphy heads to the box. That was too many players. Too much woman penalty for the takes the draw. Battle for it in the corners, and it is sent out of the zone by Haley Scamora for the United States, and she pursues. Good poke check there. Eat a little bit more time. And that's a shot from, looks like Emily Clark, affiliated with the puck. She throws centering pass, not connect, sent back to and a bad hand. Shot from fast, cap here. 30 seconds remaining. Long shot from Aaron Ambrose. And Frankel lost it, but it did not get through. Rebound cleared the zone, and Abby Murphy is back on the ice. Immediately poke checks it away, back even strength. And it looks like face-off taken by Canada. Battle along the boards. That is the United States. The Canadians will change. United States. Jocelyn Roque of the Canadians. No call on the ice. It escapes. Lee step, and puck is out of play. right at the blue line. If you are joining us, welcome. And this is some light coverage of the hockey final, women's hockey final between the US sends it around the boards and out into center ice. This is intercepted by Canada, back into the US zone, and all the way down for an icing. This will come back to the United States. Fresh legs on the ice for Canada. Rimmed around the back. Fighting the boards. There's Julia Gosling with it for the Canadians. It's taken by the United States and moved out through center. Interrupted by Canada. And they put it back. Unable to clear the zone. By O'Neill. They move through center. Intercepted by Brianne Jenner of the Canadian. 9.5 minutes. Fourth game so far. That's redirection out front from the Canadians, put aside by Frank by center ice, picked off by Layla Edwards, who and dumped back into the Canadian zone and right back out again. Canadians, that's a long shot, but no good. It deflects back out through center. Canada on the attack once more. Emma Maltese moving it. Out front from the Canadians, turned aside by Frankel. And by Megan Keller, carries it through center and into the Canadian dump. Looks like it went out of play. If you are joining us, drop your favorite Olympic moments in the comments. Favorite moments from this Olympics and in favorite all time. That was wonderful save from Frankel there against Stacy. Pardon me for one moment. US in the attacking zone. Missed pass clears almost back to the US. Now it's taken by Sarah Nurse in the attacking zone. She moves behind the net, poked away by Caroline Harvey. Now the US looks to move. Intercepted in the neutral zone and sent back on Frankel, who handily moves it aside. Big collision near the US net between Harvey and like Emily Clark. And we've got a stoppage for a hand pass. Both teams look to make a change. And we will be back after the break. Turnbull and Carpenter at the face-off circle. Taken by the United States. Steckline throws it forward on net, no icing. And it's recovered and taken back by the Canadians. Dump back into the Canadian zone. Steckline, apologies, Hillary Knight, the captain, attempting to recover, comes back to center, and there will be a penalty assessed for a trip. And it will be against the United States. Joy Dunn headed to the box. Canada will come back on the power play. Oh, I don't know about that one. A horrible mishandle from the Canadians almost led to a shorthanded chance for the United States. That Carpenter was not able to get a shot off there. Scamora not able to get the shot off. Canada back in the US zone. Ooh, nearly redirected there out front, but went wide and cleared by the United States all the way down. Handled by Debian, who floats it across. Mishandled by the Canadians, but still firmly in their control. 52 seconds remaining on that power play for the Canadians. Into the US zone and right back out again. Britta Curl carries it forward into the Canadian zone, throws it back, and a shot from Steckline. Layla Edwards looks to clear, nearly does it. Kept in by Canada. And there's a shot from Ambrose. Went wide sent wide by Frankel. And the US clears the zone. 7 seconds remaining on that power play. This will end it. And we are back even strength. US recovers in the defensive zone. Joy Dunn moves it forward, fresh out of the box, and all the way down. Sent over towards Hillary Knight, battled along the boards, kicked free, and picked up by the Canadians. Sarah Nurse moves it through into the US zone. Puts it on net, saved by Frankel and covered. Two minutes 15 remaining in this first period. Sent into the attacking zone by the Americans. The US keeps control. It is Megan Keller sends a shot, but it's turned aside. Back through neutral zone. Stick lost by a couple players there. Keller back in the defensive zone. Has a bit of trouble keeping hold of the puck. Ice does get chippy late in the periods. Sends it across and into the Canadian zone. Canada back to center ice. Picked up by Britta Curl, carries it in. Tripped up, no call. Lee Steckline throws it over to Kayla Barnes, back to Steckline. Steckline to Barnes. Barnes sends it forward. Steckline with it again. And there will be a penalty for a hook against the Canadians. United States going on power play for the first time. 14 seconds remaining in the first. And that is Ella Shelton called for a hooking. United States power play getting some action for the first time tonight in the waning seconds of the first period. And they will be starting the second with that man advantage. US to wins the draw. Yep. Linesman wasn't happy with that one. We'll be taking another. Canada falls on it. Ooh, long shot nearly made it in. And that will do it for the first. If you joined us, thank you. Glad to have you here. We will pick this back up with the second period, likely with my esteemed co host. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in about 12 minutes. We are nearly underway here with the second period in Milan. No score after the first. US will be starting with about a minute 40 left on a power play. Thank you for joining us. This is the International Sports Network. I'm Matthew Giesecke. I'll be shortly joined by my co-host, Marshall Lamert, bringing you some live coverage of the gold medal game, United States versus Canada. Excuse me. They are lining up at the center face-off circle, and we are underway. US wins the face-off. It's back to Lee Steckline. Nope. Not Steckline. That is Megan Keller. Moving it behind the net. And out to center ice. Layla Edwards has her pocket picked, recovered by the United States, and moved into the attacking zone. Canada gets it back and attempts to clear. It does not exit the zone. And a shot for the US, put aside by the Canadian goaltender. And out to center. Canada, potential shorthanded chance here, and they score. That was Kristen O'Neill. Slips it past Eric Frankel to put Canada up 1-0, shorthanded. 52 seconds remaining on that US power play. Canada leads 1-0, 19:06 to play in the second period. There's a feed from Laura Stacy right to O'Neill, slips it around the leg of Aaron Frankel to give Canada the first point score of this game. US looks to regroup. Moving it through center. Sent back down the ice by the Canadians, fielded behind the net by Frankel, and picked up by Harvey. Into the Canadian zone. United States working the perimeter. Hillary Knight sends it center, but does not connect, and Canada clears the zone. Hillary Knight brings it back in. And we've got a stoppage of play. One second remaining on that US power play. US wins the draw, but it's recovered by Canada. And that penalty has expired. US keeps it in. or not. That will be an offside. Canada dumps it into the United States zone, picked up behind the net, and the U.S. brings it back out to center ice. Battle out in front of the net, but Desian has been perfect so far in this gold medal game. Canada in their defensive zone, kept in by the United States, but now cleared to center ice. Layla Edwards with the puck. He throws it back to Megan Keller, who was not where Edwards thought she was, but no harm done there. Moved out to center and into the attacking zone for the United States. And puck deflected out of play. Even at 9 on shots, Canada wins the draw in their own zone. And they look to move forward. Sent in deep by the Canadians, picked up by Caroline Harvey of the United States, and they clear back to center and into the Canadian zone. That Canada keeps it alive in the U.S. zone. Across the front, but nothing doing. U.S. clears to center ice, but no farther. Back down. U.S. not getting out of the zone very much so far this period. Gloved down out front, and there's a shot. No good. Deflected high and out of play. It's like Hannah Bilkin, the shooter. Hannah Bilka, excuse me. Oh, yeah, she just threw that up into the netting. U.S. wins the draw. Here's Barnes at the right hash. Sorry, the right point. Dumped back in. Kept alive by the United States. Battled and the corner. And won by the Canadians, but kept and out of the zone. Canada brings it on net. Puck deflected High and out of play. A little bit of extracurriculars going on after that one. Canada wins the draw, but it's picked up by the United States. Turnbull brings it into the attacking zone and across the back of the net. Zumwinkel sends it back to Megan Keller, but she loses the puck, and Canada carries it into the attacking zone. Fought at the boards. And Keller recovers for the United States and sends it the length of the ice. Not quite enough for an icing, though. O'Neill brings it back out for Canada and into the U.S. zone. Canada will dump, and chase. Oh, there's a rough mishandle out front of the net by Layla Edwards, but nothing came of it, fortunately for the Americans. Battle behind the U.S. net. And the U.S. clears the zone. Done moving it forward. Back to Hillary Knight. Throws a shot from a bad angle. Turned aside by Debian. Sent forward by Murphy. Played behind the Canadian net. Picked up by Murphy. Over to Harvey. Murphy sends it to win. It's shot and saved by Debian. U.S. still applying the pressure, keeping it in. Behind the net. And it will trickle out of the zone, and Canada will get to change legs. Oh, and there's a takeaway for the Canadians by Sarah Nurse. Brings it forward, but kept out of the net by Frankel. We are back in Milan. Face off to the left of Aaron Frankel in the U.S. zone. Canada wins the draw. There's a long shot from the blue line. Kicked aside by Frankel, and the U.S. carries it into the neutral zone. But that will be icing against the Americans. Thank you for being here. U.S. wins the draw, fielded by Barnes behind the net, and out to center ice. Moved into the attacking zone, but turned aside by Canada, kept alive at the blue line by Steckline. The United States recovers. Steckline sends it deep. Trapped up at the boards, pulled out by Sophie Jacques for Canada and sent all the way down into the American zone. Back to center ice. Ooh, and a bouncing puck sent on net. All looked like it gave Debian a bit of trouble there. And oh, there's a high bounce around the boards. And a long shot by Edwards, kicked aside, and it dribbles back out to center, and the U.S. will have to regroup. Edwards pulls it forward into the zone, and a long shot deflects high off the glass and back out to center ice. Diving effort from Canada, but Murphy recovers, and the U.S. will push. Marie-Philippe Poulin into the U.S. zone. She centers it, but mishandled. United States recovers. Sent deep through center and into the Canadian zone. Picked up by the Canadians in white. Caroline Harvey back for Team USA, sends it forward. Skamura carrying it in. Harvey with it again. And there's a shot from the crease. Nothing doing. And a long shot from Harvey, gloved by Debian. Face off to the right of the Canadian net. Won by the Canadians, but offside. Shots now 14-11 in favor of the United States. The score remains 1-0 Canada. Carpenter up for the faceoff. Is won by Canada. Sent forward into the US zone and around the back of the net. Fielded forward by Edwards. And out to neutral ice. Edwards carries it into the zone, sends it around for who was 22 for Tessa Janecki. Knocked aside by Carpenter. Puck kept in the Canadian zone by the US and forward. Layla Edwards sends it on net, but wide. And that will bounce all the way back down the ice. No icing. Carried into the zone by Schofield. Daryl Watts for Canada sends it forward. It deflected down the ice. No icing. Sent all the way down by Wynn. Picked up behind the net. Battle all around the boards. 7 minutes remaining in the second period. Watts has it for the Canadians. It's taken away by the United States and sent forward all the way down. Battle along the boards again. Caroline Harvey for Kayla Barnes. Sent down into the zone. Barnes has with it again. She floats behind the net. Loose puck. Long shot. Rebound just out of the goal mouth. Murphy brings it around. Kicked aside again by Devienne. Now Canada moving the other direction. Maltese sends it deep, but it's picked up by Lee Steckline. US offside. And we will be right back. USA clears the zone. Canada sends it right back in. Glove down by Frankel, given to Layla Edwards. Edwards sends it down the ice, but right back to Canada and right back into the US zone. Edwards again. Sidesteps a couple defenders, sends it deep. That will be icing. There was a shot from Canada, and another turned aside by Frankel. Mishandle from Canada there, clears it back all the way down the ice. And the US gets to change. Turned aside by Coin, but for an icing. Canada wins the draw. And there's a shot, gloved by Frankel. Carpenter lined up for the faceoff and won by the United States. Handled by Haley Wynn. Battle of the boards. It's picked up by Harvey. Clears it back to center, and the Canadians throw it out of play and into the crowd. US wins the draw and dumps it deep. Big hit by Hillary Knight, and a shot from Carpenter did not go. Battled out front of the net. Dunn pulls it free for the US, but it is recovered by the Canadians, kept in at the blue line by Harvey, who brings it forward and has it taken away from her. Canada brings it back the other way. Pass was too far in front of Fast for the Canadians, and she is unable to convert. A shot. Canada dumps it back all the way down. US brings it forward. but picked up in the neutral zone by the Canadians, and they re-enter. There's a shot from Claire Thompson, is eaten up by Frankel, and that will stop play. US brings it through center, and on net, but back behind the goal, nothing doing on that one. Battle behind the net. Worked free. Renata Fast sends it around for the Canadians, but it's kept in. Layla Edwards with it, sends it deep and around. Back to the point. Back to Edwards. Edwards throws a shot, deflected out front, but goes wide. Fast clears the zone, but the US picks it right back up and re-enters. A long shot nearly dribbles around. Layla Edwards once more. Edwards sends it across. And a long shot from the slot. Layla Edwards once more. Haley Wynn carries it around the face-off circle, and Canada clears all the way down, and it will be on net. No icing. USA back on the attack once more. Final minute of the second period. US keeps it alive. Carpenter to shot from the left face-off circle, gloved down by Debian. 47 seconds remaining in the second period. Lots of pressure there from the United States. Canada wins the draw. Unable to clear yet, but there it goes across the blue line and into neutral ice. Canada sends it down behind the US net. US recovers, but Canada keeps it in. And covered up by Frankel. Shots are 20-21, Canada leading. Canada leads the score 1-0. 16 and a half seconds remaining in the second period. Canada wins the draw, and a long shot goes wide. Turned aside by Frankel. Time winding down, and the second period finishes. Canada 1-0 over the United States. 20 minutes to play in regulation. We will be back after the break. as we prepare for the third period here in the women's Olympic final, USA versus Canada. Canada leads 1-0. I am joined now by my esteemed co-host, Marshall Lamert.
I didn't expect to be able to join you for this game, man, but this is such a nice surprise.
Glad you
looks
get
like we
to
got a
be
corker on our hands here.
Sorry, say again?
Looks like we got a corker on our hands here. Well, in case we got anybody joining us late on the stream, just like I am, maybe you want to catch us up on the action at this point.
Yeah, Canada leads 1-0, of course. That's the most important part of the scoreline. Shots are just about even. Canada's got an edge, 21-20 on shot totals. Canada's lone goal came shorthanded, so not going too well.
And that's what happens in all sports when you switch off. You're in danger of really getting caught napping, and this American team is so good and so focused throughout most of this.
True. Both goaltenders been excellent as expected. Frankel and Debian are both fantastic tenders. Frankel for the Boston Fleet and Debian for the Montreal Victoire of the PWHL, respectively.
Yeah, Frankel's been absolutely locked in and just about everywhere except where she needed to be to save that shot.
Yeah, and this is the first goal the U.S. has allowed in, I want to say, 28 or 29 goals they've scored against opposition. This makes it 31 in tournament so far.
American women have gotten a little bit of a talking to just to kind of settle things down, settle their heads a little bit before they get on the ice again, and hopefully pull off what will be a very special comeback if they are successful.
The men did it yesterday. Well, women can do it today.
That is true. That is true. The future is female. Had to throw it in there. I'm sorry.
Did you catch any
wild business that? But you know something, I just had a good feeling going into the game, and you know it's like so if you go in thinking you can win, that it can be a tremendous X factor, and it was for the American men yesterday.
Yeah, and 3 overtime games out of 4, can't beat that.
That into these what will probably be their last 2 matches here, knowing that they goes.
Yeah,
that just means they're going to be that much more dangerous.
And Weird Carpenter. And the puck is dropped, and it is won by the United States. Moving into center ice. That's a long effort picked up by Kendall Coyne-Schofield. Mishandled behind the net and recovered by the Canadians. They move back.
Not sure what she was thinking with an effort like that. It just seemed like maybe something that she wanted to just test the Canadian defense with somewhere in the middle of a pass and a shot.
Yeah. See how they're and a long shot picked up by Taylor Heath. And it comes back. 5 sends it forward in this current defensive pairing.
I think that might have been Emily Clark. No, that would have, I think completely missed. Yeah, this is an interesting effort. Long range, not that far off, just kind of putting it into traffic. Was in the game, had her head in the game.
Miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Her defense backed her up. Did a really good job there.
And that's a very long effort for Canada. No icing. Moved through center. And
glove save there. Nice job from Debbie Ann to kind of the air.
Yeah.
That looked like she might have been looking for somebody center ice there.
Oh, certainly.
Center in front of the net, the cross shot. Hang on a minute.
Looking for a bit of a rebound.
Oh.
Center ice and through. Debian behind the net. Around to
it hurt a little bit.
Oh, ooh. mistimed that pass there. They had an open net but couldn't connect. Through center, covered by the U.S. at center ice and back down.
Opponents are,
yes,
especially this later. For as long as you can to get this thing started, you can kind of wrest control of the momentum back.
Yes,
in
absolutely.
Your favor.
Absolutely. Oh, here's an effort from Canada, turned aside by Frankel. Comes the U.S. They will dump and chase. But it looks to be recovered by Canada. Strong forecheck here from the United States. They're not making it easy. Kept
I don't know if I
almost
would have made
alive at the blue line, but not quite. Sorry.
To press hard, even if.
Oh, that's a poor pass. And that will trickle all the way back down. Ruled an icing.
Well, that's a lucky
Not
break
sure
for
about
the
that.
US.
Yeah. I'll take it.
No bones about it.
I will certainly take an icing getting called there, but
yeah, the Canadians are looking really dangerous on that attack beforehand.
Yes. Very. Face off at center. Won by the United States. Picked up by Canada at their blue line and up into the bench.
Well, you've got the ringside live feed going on here. I've pulled up the broadcast feed just to see if we were noticing anything different.
Yeah, the ringside really just gives you bench views. It's a lot than was promised. As is typical for NBC.
Yeah, well, we have Rexy's engineering for these games. It's just been absolutely brutal.
And if you're choosing to listen, we will not talk about the men's game during this.
No, we will not. For just a moment.
Looking back on what's happened, but that's all we're going to do here. This is about the women. This is about the U.S. women's team winning a gold medal.
MG's made it 2 1/4 periods without talking about the men at all, and we're going to get right back to the conversation is concluded, which it is right now.
Yep.
Americans on the attack again.
Canada looking to pick it back up. Oh, that's a good back check there, but recovered wide.
Oh, boy.
Not far at all. There's Edwards again, trying to feed it back into the Canadian zone. Tessa Janecki pursues. Picked up behind by Jocelyn LaRoque for Canada, and they will feed it back down the U.S. zone. That will almost go for an icing, but the Canadian beats it out.
Probably a good call by the referee, and a lucky break for the Americans as well. It seemed like when in transition during the run of play, it seems to really be favoring the American women here. They seem like they have much more energy, much more potency in the attack, and that's not a bad shot at all.
Well, the legs are a lot younger on this American. Got a lot of collegiate players, a lot of young professionals. The average age on this Canadian squad. Here comes. Looks like the play. Yes.
Again, another really dangerous shot from the Americans there. They just seem like they have almost complete control of the game right now.
They really, I think it's very telling that Canada's lone goal came on the shorthand. Just a lucky break on.
There's just absolutely nothing going on for the Canadians right now. They can barely string 2 passes together.
Yeah.
While we're in the pause here, I was seeing if I could hook myself up to the ringside live stream. Here it is, because I think the broadcast stream is is a little bit ahead, just a hair. Let's get a look at what this ringside live is all about. Yes, it's interesting. So what do you think the American coach is talking about here?
Looking for a little game plan on moving forward right now. Played a lot lately. Try to tire him out some more. And that ice surface is going to get more and more worn down. Pucks are going to take more and more bounces.
They just seem like they're all they're really looking for is that final pass
Of this gold medal game line. Feeds it around behind the Canadian net, goes back to Caroline Harvey, who sends it towards the net, but it's blocked out front by the Canadians.
Oh!
The U.S. continuing the attacking pressure. They're not goal blocked out front. Here's Megan.
Get a little bit closer.
Yeah. Here's Keller at the point. Passes
Lovely
it back.
passing.
Around behind the net. Who recovers. They will beat out the icing. Daryl Watts again for Canada, but the U.S. picks it alive. Save by Frankel.
From Frankel there. That was enough.
In the zone, still dangerous for the U.S., but that deflects high and out of play. And here's another look at that
this is
long
better
shot.
from Canada. That was a really dangerous spot. Difficult save for Frankel to make, but she gets to it with the stick.
Yep. And good defensive work out from Canada from getting a deflection. U.S. works it back behind the Canadian net a bit. Yeah. They had a... Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Because Canada really is giving a lot of center ice. Oh, there's the long shot. Goes wide. Recovered by the United States. Sent back around. Canada. No, they cannot. And there's another forecheck recovery from the United States. Canada's got it, and kept alive at the blue. Oh, looks like it just cleared and we got an offside. Gotta. Absolutely. Beating this team 5-0. 10:35 to play. Yeah. Gotta be. 10.5 to play here in the third period. Canada sends it out of play from their own zone. Looks like it went out at center ice, though, so no delay of game incoming. Yes. Yes. Very much so. That will be... Oh, Canada beats out the icing once more. Sent forward by the U.S. into neutral ice. Picked up by Canada. They send it back down. Fresh legs for both teams. Here comes Keller, sending it forward to Kendall Coyne. Absolutely. The question is, how's that going to pay out for him? Oh, fabulous block there by the Canadian Sophie Jacques. That one's sent down the ice. This one will go for an icing. The U.S. will change. Canada may not. Yeah. My apologies. I called that Sophie Jacques. That was Laura Stacy. Thank you. Appreciated. US with the draw, working around the back of the net. Canada recovers, and Turnbull looks to push it back to center ice. She does, but the US takes it back immediately into the Canadian zone, but offside. Absolutely. Yes. This US decor has been very, very nice all tournament. Yeah. And there's a replay of that Canada goal. Just a fabulous effort out front from Kristen O'Neill to get that shorthanded lead for Canada. Will the US be able to answer? Time is running down. Has to be. Now, they've had a near perfect tournament to this point. Cannot let it slip away now. They are lined up for the draw. And the US wins it. Back to Caroline Harvey. She sends it across. And then deep into the Canadian zone. Recovered by Canada and back to center ice. But no farther as Harvey gets it back once more. Fresh legs out for Canada. Keller plays it into the Canadian zone, handled behind the net by Debienne. 8 minutes remaining in regulation here in Milan. Edwards has a near mishandled pass there. Nearly a very bad giveaway. Yeah. That's a long pass from Canada that they once again beat out for icing. Frankel catches it in front and covers. That will stop the play. And a little bit of extracurriculars after the whistle there. Yeah. Absolutely not. Never count Canada out, especially in a game in a medal game. Linesman didn't like something about that draw, and we're going to take it again. Yep. U.S. wins the draw. And that is Steckline behind the net, feeds it around and through center ice. Back to the neutral zone. Steckline once more. Steckline sends it forward. All the way down. Handled behind the net by Debian. Almost gave it away there. The Canadian goaltender did. Almost gave it away to a fully empty net, but Canada recovers and continues their defensive work here. Joy Dunn battling against the boards. It falls back to the blue line. Here is Caroline Harvey. Throws it back across the ice. Long shot goes wide. Canada brings it back to center. US picks it back up, and they move into the Canadian zone. They are keeping Canada from changing once more. The big hit against the boards, and that will be a penalty against the United States. Canada will be on the power play once again with 6 minutes, 23 seconds to go in this third period of the gold medal game. Yeah, Ambrose stays on the ice for Canada. Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, you can't be hitting like that. Yeah, we're looking. The refs look like they're taking a look at it. It's no. Here comes the referee's decision. 2 minutes or looks to be a boarding or roughing. We'll see what the call is. That would be 2 minutes for boarding. Yeah. US clears it straight down the ice. And there's a strong shorthanded effort behind the net there for the US. Kelly Panek looking to get something going shorthanded. They have already eaten 30 seconds out of this power play for Canada. It's a quarter gone. Recovered again by the US and cleared down the length of the ice. 5 minutes 40 remaining in regulation. 1 minute 15 on the power play for Canada. There's a big hit at the short boards. Canada throws it on net, turned aside by Frankel. Canada trying to settle it down a little bit. That shot was blocked out front and deflected out to center ice. Canada brings it back in, turned aside by Frankel, and cleared to the blue line and out of the zone by the United States. 40 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Glove down by Frankel, and that will freeze it. Absolutely. Draw one by Canada. Sent back behind, picked up by Kayla Barnes. Tries to clear, but is not able. Canada continuing their pressure, floating around this United States penalty kill, and a shot turned aside by Frankel. And the US gets it back out of danger, and that should end the penalty. 3, 2, 1. We are back even strength. 4 minutes, 20 seconds to go in regulation. I cannot imagine, assuming the US does not score in the next minute or so, we probably will not be seeing Frankel much more in the rest of this game. Ooh, hi. Very dangerous moment there out in front of the US net. And that was a big hit just at the edge of the broadcast screen. Yeah. Yeah, where's the scoring for the US? Yeah. Cleared back into the US zone by the Canadians. 3 minutes to play. There's a shot from Canada, turned aside by Frankel. And another. Canada continuing their possession in the US zone. Whiffed shot by Canada and results in it dribbling back out to center ice. Fresh legs on for the United States, and they take the puck, moving through center ice into the attacking zone. Here come the Americans, dragged down from behind. I don't know how a penalty wasn't assessed there. Let's let's see what the call is. Well, yeah, does not seem to be a penalty assessed against the Canadians. Yeah, Frankel coming off, extra attacker on for the United States. This, around this time is fairly typical. Within the last 3-ish minutes is typically when you see a goaltender being pulled, especially in a 1-0 game like this. And the US wins the draw, kept alive at the blue line, fed around behind the net. Yeah. All of the US's big guns out for this last push. And that's a goal from the blue line. Looked like Megan Keller to my eye, but we'll see on replay. Might have been Hillary Knight with the way she's celebrating. That was a rocket. Let's see the replay here. Shot from the blue line, deflected by Hillary Knight. Yeah, Layla Edwards to Hillary, right off the stick of Hillary Knight and over the pad. Not at all. And that's a huge goal. Um, that is the quest. We got 2 minutes to play yet. And the US is attacking hard. Recovered by Canada. They move through center. That was a mishandled pass. There is a loose stick. It's in the neutral zone as well that has not been cleared yet. That one moved out to center ice, but back in the hands of the United States. They clear the zone. Back to Canada. Canada now moving it into the American zone, but that will be either an offside or an icing. And that is, yep, Hillary Knight now takes the definitive lead for Olympic goals among U.S. men and women. She is alone at the top of the mountain with 15. Absolutely not an ounce of quit in this team. Very, very close there. And here come the Americans. There's a long shot, turned aside and back to center ice. 38 seconds to play in regulation. If this ends tied, we will go to 3-on-3 for 10 minutes. And if no goals are scored in the overtime period, it will go to shootout. Here come the Americans moving into the Canadian zone. Battle for the puck along the boards, and there's a shot out front. Oh, but it's covered by Debian. Who is taking no chances with less than 10 seconds to play in regulation. Very, very likely. Yep, one face-off won by the Canadians. They carry it around. They've got time for one very quick push. They will not get a shot on net. This is going to overtime in the gold medal game. For those unfamiliar, overtime hockey is golden goal. Next score wins. Players will take a quick break and then we'll be back for the overtime period. Absolutely. And we will get a fresh sheet of ice for overtime. They're bringing the Zambonis out. Glad you could join us for the third. Perfect. Take care. Play Freebird. We'll be back in moments with the overtime action here in Milan. We are just about ready to begin this overtime period here in Milan for the gold medal of the women's hockey in the Milan Cortina Olympics 2026. Pardon me. Correction to what we said just before leaving broadcast. This will be a 20-minute 3-on-3 overtime period and will not go to shootout. This will be decided in competition. Players are coming back to the benches and taking the ice. They are lined up at the face-off circle. Keller, Carpenter, and looks like Kendall Coyne Schofield on the ice for the U.S. For Canada, there is Renata Fast, Marie-Philippe Poulin, and Laura Stacy. That one turned glove down by Debian. She plays it. The U.S. will change. Oh, and almost a turnover behind the Canadian net there. Janicki pressuring the Canadians. It's a turnover in the offensive zone for the United States, and it plays back. They clear the zone. Janicki with the puck for the United States. Puck goes back to Caroline Harvey. Who takes it around behind. Oh, Daryl Watts for Canada, moving down the ice alone, has on a breakaway, goes wide. Turned aside by Frankel. Fresh legs out for the United States. It's a 3-on-2 for the Canadians as they have a bit of a rough entry. Mishandled there, recovered by Layla Edwards. Edwards pushes it forward into the neutral zone, and she carries it into Canada. Sarah Nurse on for Canada. And they were offside. Fabulous effort from Abby Murphy to turn that effort aside. Draw one by the United States. Megan Keller with it. She feeds it forward to Britta Curl. Curl into the attacking zone. Back to Keller, who shoots, turned aside by Debian. Recovered by the Canadians, but harangued by Curl. Long pass for Canada. Up to Poulin. Her shot goes wide. Held in at the blue line, but no longer. U.S. moving it forward. Pass goes across, but out of the zone. U.S. will have to regroup. Harvey on for the United States. Kendall Coyne, Schofield's shot gloved down by Debian. The bronze medal game between Sweden and Switzerland also went to overtime earlier today, as well as 3 of the 4 quarterfinal matches for the men. Canada wins the draw. They regroup behind the net. Now look to move forwards. It is Sarah Fillier. Shoots. Turned aside by Frank. Played by a high stick and held by Frankel. Face off a neutral zone, taken by the Canadians, but pressured by the United States. Hillary Knight working against Renata Fast. Oh. And almost taken away by the United States there, but now it's 2-on-1 for Canada. Poked aside by Layla Edwards. And now coming back the other way, Hillary Knight with it. Moving into the Canadian zone, long shot gloved by Debian. 16:20 to play in the overtime period. Canada wins the draw in their zone. Recovered by the United States, but cleared out to center ice. They will regroup. Forward for Keller. Works her way. That's a gold medal for the United States. Megan Keller works her way around the pads of and Renee Debian and scores the winner for the United States. In overtime, the U.S. wins the gold medal over Canada. And it is celebrations and tears at the U.S. bench and devastation on Canada's. Joy and sorrow, hand in hand. Thanks so much for joining us here at the International Sports Network. Enjoy the celebrations for our American viewers. And thanks so much for watching. I've been Matthew Gieske. I was joined for the third period by my co-host, Marshall Emmert. Thanks for watching.